Yes, guys, welcome. It's another episode of Fight Talk Live. It's Danny Glover. It's October Red. It's Base the Kid. You know where it is. How you doing today?
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? What's going on?
What's going on? Yeah, I feel like it's funeral settings for me. I think I'm going to fling these dark glasses back on that I had on last night when I was crying on my stream after
Okay.
Dillian got totaled in 1 minute 59 seconds.
Oh dear. Well, talk to us about it, man. We'll get into everything else afterwards. Talk to us. How did everything? Because I know that you obviously have got inside track with the camp. So, what's the mood?
What is the mood? I thought everything was Chris, but obviously everything weren't Chris. The one thing I will say, and I'm not like as I clocked it and I said it on my live. I said, look at Dillian's Bambi legs as he was walking to the ring. Because he walked solo, didn't he? He took ages to come out, and then he was walking to the ring, and I said, "Oh, look at his Bambi legs again." And I started laughing. Um, Ironic, because obviously the rumor is there's something wrong with him, but injured, rumor, fact, whatever it is, it's time for a serious conversation with the team. And it hurts me to say that because I'm a big like Dillian White fan, and he's going to do what he wants to do in it. I don't care if he retires, comebacks, and has 10 fights, whatever. But after yesterday, whatever it was, it's time to sit down and have that convo.
Yeah. All right. So I got a couple of things I want to say, but I think some of it I'm gonna wait until I'm actually just directly on my weekend wrap because I still need some time to process some thoughts. That being said, like, I don't think it's a secret. Everyone knows that I've been a very big Dillian White supporter from about 2013, 2014 onwards.
Mm.
From before the ban, I'd heard about him, and then obviously when he came back from that first ban with UCAD. So I've always been invested, and I am a person, win, lose or draw. I just like the story, and like it's funny. I even used to challenge my dad. My dad used to dislike him. I was like, no, no, no. Like you got to understand the journey. He's like, yeah, no, there's something about him. Just don't like the way he goes on. Don't. And then I understood it, but then he started to take to him a bit more. We just like, okay, he's just not gonna. I just don't think he's ever going to get to where he needs to be. And of all the people, he's had that hard run. He didn't get the right opportunities when he was supposed to have them. He, was messed about by WBC. He's messed about in other places. But I'm not going to sugarcoat and act like a lot of that wasn't also his own doing. Like no one told him to be fighting the Oscar Rivases and the Povetkins and people that are all 6 foot and 6'1" when all the champions were 6'5", 6'6", 6'7". I said from day dot that made no sense, and even Dean was on a couple interviews saying, "Yeah, I don't know if I would have taken these fights. They're these short guys, all the champions are taller." So there's a lot of things there where moves were made for the money. They were made for the pay per view. Sort of I guess those pay per view buys, and whether or not that paid off in the end, who knows? I mean, I'm sure that on the money side of things is all good, but on the career side, it is what it is. Last night was bad.
Mm.
Now, first things first, we can all clearly see. I saw it from when it actually started, but even on the replays, you can quite clearly see that he did get hit in the back of the head, like
Oh.
right sort of the top of the back, so right down on that fleshy part, compression down on the spine. So everything, so you can tell the equilibrium just sort of shattered
Gone.
from there. You could clearly see it, and it wasn't something that Moses did illegally or
Mm-mm-mm.
he could have got disqualified for, because ultimately it was Dillian that dipped down
Y-
to allow that to happen. But yes, back of the head was back of the head, and from there it was crisis settings. Then it's funny because I thought there was another one that came in, and then I thought, oh, that's the one that took him down. It's only on the replay where you see the little short right hook that came in to the jaw, which is what actually sent him down onto the floor. Trying to get up,
mm.
um, yeah, it's a little stumble similar to what he did with Tyson Fury, and it gets waved off, and he's majorly protesting. He wants to carry on. True warrior, like no, there's no quit, there's no question in the heart. But um, yeah, it's just Moses is just that good. Now look, Dillian isn't what he used to be. That's fair, but Moses is just he. At the moment, there's three things we're all waiting to see for Moses. Can he take a shot? Can he go the distance? And can he adjust on the fly if the game plan and sticking to the game plan ain't working? Well, the talent that he's got at the moment, I feel like it's going to be a very long time before we find out any of those
Correct.
things. There are a few people that I think can definitely take him to those levels, but I also think that those few people he will not be put in the ring with for right now, especially being as close as he is to an actual a potential title shot. Especially if Turkey keeps screaming that he wants to see him versus Alexander Usyk. The rest of the event was pretty good. I didn't like the order of the way it was. We'll
Same.
talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, just it is the end of an era. You've got Anthony Joshua looking to fight Jake Paul, so I'm not saying he's cashing up, but he's definitely checked out of the world title scene because you don't go back to world title shots after that, if we're being fair. You've got Dillian, who's now just been taken out in one round by still who you would call a prospect, let's be honest, or fringe contender. Um, you know, you got Derek Chisora, who's got one fight left, and is now being the most strategic he's ever been in his career. Fury's retired. Wilder's basically on a semi-retirement tour. Yeah, I guess it's time for the new crop to come in. I will leave the thoughts there for the moment. I may come back to some other stuff later on, but yeah, that's kind of how I've taken last night.
Yeah, it was very surprising about what happened. I have noticed that Dillian, for quite a few years, he has walked quite unstable, but I've always put that down to, I know he's spoken
Actually
openly
being
about
shot in the leg.
being shot in the leg. So you can see the balance has not always been good for many years, even when he used to throw certain hooks and spin, 90 degrees and sometimes 360. Um, he got himself into great shape, but unfortunately, it looked like he was more built for show than built to go in for this fight. As Bay said, he did dip down and got caught towards the back of the head by his own doing, but it just seemed that everything he got hit with hurt, from the straight left to the body. There was a right hook to the body that hurt him, and he's known as the body snatcher. But it seemed like everything Moses hit him with was hurting. He was, he had to hold onto the rope a dope, buckling.
Went back straight.
And then Moses did the old Lomachenko, pulled a hand down, right hook round the corner into the jaw, and that sent him to the floor. Got up on wobbly legs, as said before. The mind was willing, but the body was not, unfortunately. And it's sad because a lot of people was talking about, we're talking, this fight is reminding me of it could go like David Haye versus Carl Thompson. I'm thinking this is what happens when people just like to think they're talking historian things, but they don't really know. They don't. If you go back,
It's nostalgia.
yeah. But there's a load more. There's a load more of where the old man just gets finished by the younger man. Even if you talk more recently, you talk about AJ. This looked more like Anthony Joshua versus Kevin Johnson when he got destroyed by Anthony Joshua. But then even when you go back further, you can talk about when Frank Bruno just smashed up Joe Bugner, who was a very good fighter in his day. But when you're coming up against the young, hungry lion, and as Moses said, he wanted to see his eyes. He looked into his eyes and he said he saw a wounded animal. And yeah, you've got that Slavic DNA with that Nigerian DNA. It's a serious concoction there. Very cool, very cold, very calm and collected young individual. I would like to know how he did academically in school because he seems highly intelligent.
He said he wasn't interested in school. I watched one of his interviews. He said, like, the teacher was saying, listen, you got to have a backup plan. You can't just, think about boxing. And he said, boxing is my only plan. That's all I want to do. Because he said he went back to his school. Like I said, I've been watching the interviews. Really good work from Queensbury for the
Mm,
backdrop of this fight. They built it up brilliantly. And he said, nah, it was always boxing for him. Um, but you've seen his dad because his dad made like a guest appearance. We've never seen his
yeah,
father
yeah, I
before,
see that.
and you see that, and I think a lot of people's mentality, and this is just my personal opinion from growing up in a single parent family, but not being in a single parent family, it counts a lot when the father is around the sons. It's so important. And you could see that when you talk about Nigerian and Slavic, he's got the two inputs from both of them, hasn't he? And that's
Yes,
important. And you can see why he's so grounded. And that's me coming from a single parent family, but not being in a single parent family, if that makes sense. You know what
yes.
I mean? He's proper grounded. And I've always said that about him.
But it's the same even with Fabio Wardley, who's also his dad's Nigerian too, and he comes across as very intellectual, very well spoken, quite cool, collected as well. A bit more fiery, but I guess people try to stick it on him a bit more, so he ends up having to come out of himself. But yeah, Moses, he is looking like the truth at the moment. Um, Dillian, I think he's got to pack it up. We've seen
Oh,
Fury now; he's retired. AJ, he's not looking for anything world title in dreams. It seems it's sad, But Dillian, he's 37 years old. He's put on a lot of people in his journey.
yeah, yes.
From
Even those that
yeah,
turn their back on him.
yeah, there's a whole list of names that we can go through. I'll go through a few of the names. He's put on for the man them properly from you know Derek Chisora's nephew Jermaine, Alan Babich, Richard Riakporhe, Chris Congo, Pesta, John Harding, Dwayne Sinclair, Yusuf Kamari, Sedam Ali, uh, Thomas Carty, Charlie Duffield, Fabio Wardley, Michael Magic Hands, done help for Craig Richards, Xavier Miller. The list goes on. He's done a Dean White.
Preach.
Um, so he's put
How
on
much of
for a
them are in
city.
his corner still now?
Sorry.
How much of them are still in his corner now?
Yeah, yeah. Well, a few. There's not as not that list, but there's a couple man still there, which is good to see. But he's put on for his city and put on for his country, like Young Jeezy says. So yeah, big ups to Dillian. He's had great nights. He's the only man I remember who was doing pay-per-view headline shows um, without a world title shot,
Yeah.
and he was pay-per-viewing and doing O2 arenas. So it just shows you the pulling power that he has. A man who's come from Jamaica, hasn't had an easy life. He's had a very colourful life. He's got a child older than Moses. He started producing from young, and he set up his life now. He's living out in Portugal. It seems he's got his gym there. He's got his managerial license, so he's got life after boxing. So it is sad, but I know Dillian will be all right. Dylan will be all right.
Yeah, it's mad that we're kind of like saying, "Yeah, see you later," like walking him towards his coffin, the boxing coffin, and the conveyor belt comes to an end. It's up to him, and I think he needs to have a serious sit down with his team. But like I said, even when it comes to Joel Joyce, we can't tell him what to do. He's a fighter, and he's going to do what he wants.
Mm.
What's best for him and what he wants won't often agree. But that serious sit down convo with the team, it's a must.
Yeah,
Otherwise, they're just going to use him as like Body was saying, they're just going to use him as a stepping stone for the next young buck and the next young buck. And what's that then?
yeah, like a Kevin Johnson, because Kevin Johnson was Kingpin Johnson once upon a time, and then he just started being used
Mm,
as a brand name to propel the next crop on their trajectory. And I don't want that for Dillian. He's better than that.
It's one of them. Good fight though, and shout out to Moses because I tell you something, he's skilled and he's brave and he's courageous and he believes in himself and he's got the right attitude. And that's the thing. Just because you see you might have like took like you back your guy, you back Dillian, doesn't mean you want Moses to lose because Moses is incredible. And like I said, he's a lovely gentleman. It would have been nice to just see Dillian have his little bit of light in the sun, but it just wasn't for him. And it's Moses' time now. He's taking the torch. It's going to be a steep incline for him moving forward because obviously I'm sure we're going to get on to discuss who he should fight next. I don't want to hear about Usyk, but it's a steep incline for him because now it's like, all right, you've done that. So what are you going to do next?
Red, I know that you had some dialogue or was looking to have some dialogue with Dillian's team after the fight. I just want to know one thing. Did Buddy give him the cigar?
I haven't spoke to Buddy yet, but I have asked the question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think it's time.
Yeah. And that's the thought that went through my head. That serious sit down conversation. Yeah, the cigar talk.
It's crazy. One thing I will say is crazy is that as much as a lot of people have given Dillian the gatekeeper, the journeyman role and stuff, when you it's funny because you look at the record and literally as of last night, he's now just equaled the amount of losses that Anthony Joshua had, who was a former 2-time unified champion. He's got less losses on his record than a lot of guys who are still supposedly contenders in the game.
Derek Chisora being one, yeah.
Well, I don't even know about Derek. Derek's not a contender. He's a perennial overviewer. Like,
you know what I mean, though. He's mandatory for the IBF, so yeah.
Yeah, but just it's people like that, and obviously before yesterday, he had the same amount or less losses on his record than some people who are still in those top spots. So it just goes to show you like how good number one promotion can be, or just maybe if you're the guy that's in the right fit, has the right look, has the right connections, you can be recycled and you can be wheeled about. But yeah, look, it's like I said, I've got some other things that I wanna say, but I'm gonna save them till later. I still don't know if I agree with yesterday being a pay-per-view as such, but obviously I was happy to pay for it because of some of the people and some of the stuff that's on there. Let's talk about who Moses fight first, then we can talk about the order of the card and how we all felt that. So whoever wants to start that.
Do you want to go, Danny?
Yeah. Well, I saw an interview straight after where I saw Moses was talking about Jermaine Franklin. That's who I think would be good due to getting rounds, because that seems to be the talking point now. Where are you going to get the rounds from? Because you do need them as you go up, because eventually, like any big puncher or destructive fighter, you will come up against someone who can take your shots, as Moses has gone points twice already in the past. So there is someone who will be able to take his shots eventually.
Someone's been checking my tweets.
You know what? You just clocked my face, didn't you? Because I'm sure we spoke about him going in against Jermaine Franklin already, maybe about 7 months ago.
Okay.
I don't think it was that long ago, but it was spoken about before. But if he put out an interview yesterday,
in the changing room, in the changing room.
So I put out a tweet before they got back to the changing room saying that Jermaine Franklin, it's either going to be Franklin, Hrgović, Jarrell Miller, or Michael Hunter. Those are the kind of opponents he needs to have next.
Okay.
So I
know I mentioned Jermaine Franklin ages ago.
Well, he did. Yeah, he said Jermaine Franklin. He said Hrgović.
Yeah.
He said he said somebody else. I forgot the other name. It wasn't Michael Hunter though, but he did say Jermaine Franklin.
Yeah.
Hrgović. And he mentioned one or two other names. But I thought Jermaine Franklin, because he's shown a very good chin, um, in when he's been over in the UK. So yeah, if basically you put that out there, someone's definitely been looking at
But
your
if it's
tweet.
that recent,
Yeah, so that's some serious going. But it's mad to think with him. He's only 20 years old. There's clubs that I work at outdoors and that where I'd still actually have to turn him away because it'd be over 21s.
Hmm.
But yeah, that wouldn't be a nice experience if he got upset.
um, shout out to Karma in the chat. She said Franklin's just posted he's looking for tall sparring partners. So interesting take on that, Karma. And Murad Arawak's put Grand Rising guys. I don't know about Franklin, but I reckon Atuma versus Anderson. I don't think so. I don't think that's a great matchup. I think Moses smokes him.
Yeah, that's. I think that's a fight for maybe 5 years time. Due to their age, it'd be better
If
further down the
Anderson is
line.
still about,
Yeah, if he's still about. But yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
what do you think, October? Who do you think he should fight?
I like Parker. I know it's a mad leap again, and I'm not rushing him, but I do like the Parker fight. I definitely like the Hergovich fight, and I've got no issues with Jermaine Franklin because Jermaine Franklin's as tough as hell. But the inactivity again, I'd rather, in an ideal world, even though there's no one like really 20 years old with the skill base of him, he needs to be fighting somebody that's younger and fresher, therefore faster. Because at the moment, his CV, his resume is full of a lot older guys because he's a baby. But we
Yeah,
need to probably bring down the age a little bit of experience, because it doesn't matter how fit you are as an older person. And I can say this, I'm quite fit for an older person, but I haven't got the speed that I had when I was 20. You do age, and boxing ages you more rapid. It's like dog years with boxing. So I'd like him to fight somebody that's slightly more younger and fresher. So the competition is, I'm not saying there would be necessarily competition, but it's a bit more level based on the youth.
mm,
So Franklin, inactivity, older. Hergovich is still quite, he's in there because we can talk about his fight, but Parker's still quite young
yes,
out of all of those when you look at that, and he's got the speed, etc. So I'm not looking at rankings because it would be rude of me to bring the rankings into it. I'm just looking at ideal opponents for
mm,
Moses, because he's constantly going to be tested. I know he's a good fighter, and I'm not going to sit here and say, oh well, Dylan was finished. Of course, no, that was still a credible opponent. I said it on my live yesterday, Danny and Base, that did Mike Tyson fight the equivalent to a Dillian White when he was going into fight number 13? He didn't. And somebody brought up the fight that he had in the chat and said, no, it wasn't the equivalent to Dillian White. So Dillian White was still a step up. And coincidentally, Frank Warren said that the exact same words as me after the post-fight conversation he was having with Ade. He said,
yeah, I saw that.
we did blah, blah. And I'm thinking, raw. So the comparison's there. You have to give Dillian his flowers.
Well,
But
hold on
Moses
though. But
needs,
if we played devil's advocate and decided to cut
go
you
on.
off with that, and
Yeah,
yes, you're totally right. Mike Tyson didn't, but Mike Tyson fought damn near 22 times in
he
2 years.
did.
So he was
He did.
able to have a lot more of those. If he had more time in between, the same as what Moses did, he probably would have fought someone more comparable to that time based on the time frame.
But
Because
then do we
he
have
was
to?
doing a lot of his. Obviously, he was doing the sparring, but he was doing a lot of his work and his learning in the ring.
And
Moses. I don't
it's
think
15
Moses
rounds
could
as well,
handle the
longer
kind of
fight.
schedule that Tyson did. If we're gonna do that, I don't
But
think he could handle 2 and 3 fights a month.
and I hear that, and the comparison is only there because he's been compared to Mike Tyson before. The
I just
fact that he's like a rising star, I hear what you're saying, but in this day and age, nobody fights like that. And in
I,
this day and age, he's been one of the most active heavyweights that boxing has seen for a while, because as soon as he came out, he was fighting practically, I think it was every 8 weeks to start off with, which is a miracle in this era, because the heavyweights are fighting even twice a year, and the ones with
yeah.
no belts.
Well, I just checked Mike Tyson's 13th fight. That was in. He did that in 8 months from his debut.
Yeah, that's the argument that Base is saying, that he was fighting a lot more people, so he was more active. But I'm saying if you've got to compare it to this era, albeit there's a lot more fights, a lot more compressed, longer rounds, etc. He still wasn't fighting somebody like that in his 13th fight.
No,
So that's
but
why I think he's ready for someone, or he could go up against somebody like Parker, or definitely Hergovich.
yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, but then what you got to do is a bit of a trick what Frank did there, because you can do
Frank
the
doing
number of
tricks.
no, you can do the number of fights, but let's talk about the duration you've been a pro from your debut. Mike Tyson was already a world champion in this space of time from his
Mm.
debut. So the amount of
Yeah,
time Moses has been pro, Mike Tyson was a world champion, knocking out a
I get it.
big man, yard man. Funny enough, in Trevor Berbick
I
for
get
the
it.
title to become the youngest. Because remember, they were chasing Mike Tyson's record and they couldn't break it.
Yeah,
So Mike Tyson's still that guy.
still that guy.
But no, and that was it. I just remember now who he said. He said Ajit Caballo. Moses Thomas said in the
Oh,
back. That was
did
the other
he?
name mentioned.
Interesting.
Yes.
It's funny because in the ring he was saying, I know that he said, you know, Caballero and Parker, like I know that they definitely deserve their shots, but I
Mm-hmm.
want to be in the mix. So I don't know if he said that as in I want to be in the mix with them to prove that I can go ahead, or I want my shot at Usyk, even though I know that they deserve theirs as well. But if he did say Ajit Caballero, kudos to him, because of all the names that we've mentioned, I think that is the one person that can beat him, can match him for speed, match him for aggression,
Yeah, aggression.
and obviously has a very good engine and a sustained attack that he definitely would have to figure out on the fly. So,
Hmm.
not saying he would beat him, but he's definitely the one that I would give the best odds of the current crop. Someone
Ajit.
asked me the other day, yesterday, about, and I kind of did a little round robin of who would beat who, and I did have Caballero as beating Atalma, but Atalma beating Parker, and Parker either going the distance or pushing Caballero to a decision or possibly a draw. It was
Yeah.
off the cuff, but based on the way that I've seen all of them fight, that's kind of how I could see those fights playing out.
I didn't know he mentioned Ajit.
Yeah, when he was in the back afterwards.
I think that's the most competitive
Mm.
out of those. Definitely, because I know, yeah, Ajit. We'll see, but whatever it is, they're gonna propel him, aren't they? If they give him Jermaine Franklin, that's more or less like a thank you fight. So if they give him Jermaine, it potentially to get those rounds in. Don't go in there necessarily to knock him out. Let's see how we can work our way around the ring. But what I will say is watch Moses' amateur fights. He's aggressive, he's cocky, and we've not really seen what the full capabilities of him in the pro game. It was there. It was already embedded in him when he was an amateur. It was already there. It's there. Go and have a look.
Mm.
So we'll see what go on with him. I don't think he's a hype job. I hear it, people are going to be like, oh, hype job, this, that. I don't think he's a hype job.
I wouldn't use the word hype job, but at the moment, I think it is fair to say that we can say he is overhyped because there's a lot we don't know.
Yeah.
But again, because a lot of it has negative, people feel like it's an attack when you say something like that. It's not. Like, we believe he's the truth. We believe this stuff, but we can't prove it yet. And I think that's where we do say overhyped, because everything is the next Mike Tyson. He is the future. He's the heir apparent, and there's still so many questions to answer. So we do have to kind of just take a step back at times, and also, again, as much as he's super mature for his age and is definitely
Like
got
I
a
say,
good head on his shoulders and all that stuff, but him being 20, like, we also just have to bear in mind, let him also be a
the
not a
20-year-old.
child, but be a young
I hear
man,
it.
be a man that's gonna make his mistakes. Because right now
I hear it.
we're already setting him on that path of you can't even put a foot wrong, which is crazy, considering what some of us in the communities we come from, what we were getting up to at the age of 20 and 21,
Facts.
and being given that grace period to
Facts.
mature through that, and he's
Yeah.
not going to get that. So also,
Yeah,
again, I feel
facts.
like we do have to just give him that grace period, and maybe not pile all this pressure and the hopes of the UK on his shoulders and stuff, because he doesn't need that yet, nor should we. Like, as a, just as you know, I don't want to go on the ramble of as a community and as a people,
Nah,
but
but you're right though.
you know what it is.
Yeah, we do. We do, and I like that. And like I said, that strong father input, that's what made me smile, because I ain't seen his dad before. So when I seen him there, that put a big smile on my face. I was like, yep, when you got that solid pops around you, you're laughing. I never had that. Do you know what I mean? I know I'm a bit crazy because of that, because I should have had that. Danny, you're nice. And Base, I know, look at the relationship you have with your father. It's so important. So when you know you got them solid foundations there, you're good. And he's good from that, because he'll always have his people.
Yeah.
Does Moses have a girlfriend? I hope not.
I
Moses,
hope
if
not.
you're listening, no bother with it. No, no girlfriends. They'll just ruin you. You'll fall in love. Your testosterone will drop, and that's it. You forget what you're doing. No girlfriends, please.
Well,
Yeah.
based on the video of the house and the bags with no drawers, just everything in the bags, he was saying that the bed's sturdy, so that probably just says that maybe no, there's no girlfriends. He's just doing his thing as a young man.
Do his thing, man.
That's what we like.
But don't make them cut your hair,
I
please.
know. I
Well,
said
he's
that.
already done it.
His
Yeah,
hair
but-
is his strength.
But he grew it back. If that's his only mistake he's gonna make, then we let that slip, that little one haircut go. But yeah, man.
Fair dues.
Yeah, man.
All right, so look, let's talk about the other fights on the card, and specifically, I think Red, you said same as me. Like the order of the card was very, very well. For me personally, it was bad because I wanted to cover the 4 fights that were initially supposed to be shown on the top, which was Ford and initially Kakache, but Ford and Nova, Adelaide and Hergovich,
Yeah.
and then Goodman and Nick Ball. Now, the only thing I can assume is they moved the Satsumi fight further up the card so that the Japanese market would be awake to view it.
Okay.
That's the only thing I can assume, because they are like about 12 hours ahead of us.
Right.
Or 10 to 12 hours, something like that, which probably means they're about 12 hours ahead of Saudi. So in theory, when the card's starting, it's probably about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning over there.
Fair enough.
So possible, but watching basically what we're looking at as if anything, it's an exhibition bout, or or a showcase. That's a better word. It's a showcase bout for him, because Kashat's fact wasn't of the level that he needed to be to make that a competitive fight, regardless of his amateur abilities. But let's talk about Hergovich and Adelier, as I'm going to use the Nigerian.
Adelier.
Yeah.
So that okay.
There was a big
pronouncing it wrong.
No. He says, look, for the UK people it's Adelaide, but I've got it on video. We had a back about the pronunciation of his surname.
Adelier.
Yeah, because there's a bunch. I've got some African friends who said no, that's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
He's like, oh yeah, but there's a certain twang you have to hit it, and I don't have that twang because I'm not Nigerian.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, no, it's Adelaide.
Yeah, because I saw he was a bit taken aback when you were saying it, but then he had to kind of confess that, yeah, all right, yeah, it's Adilier, and he said the twang with it.
Adelier.
Yeah, Adilier.
Ah.
Yeah. Because that's obviously how his parents would say it.
Fair enough.
But yeah, he's a, what do you call it? Anglicized.
Yeah, just like Boatsi.
Boatsi, because he's Boachi.
Yeah.
Boache. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yes, Star Fox did. You did tell me, but the chance of David coming back on the channels is probably microscopic anyway. So I'm really not worried about that.
So what we're going to talk about the fight,
the
Hergovich fight.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll go first if you don't mind.
Go.
Yeah, with the Philip Hergovich David Adelaide fight, the build up even. All right, Star Fox. The build up was interesting. David Adelaide had a different demeanor going into this fight week to how he does usually in fight weeks. And one thing I will say is I do have an issue. I do have a slight issue with it because I notice, unfortunately, a lot of African and Caribbean fighters tend to have a different energy when they're fighting someone from a different demographic to themselves. Because when he was, when he was having spats with the likes of Fraser Clark, he was very
Fabio.
aggressive. Fabio Wardley, highly aggressive. Solomon Dacres, a lot of intimidation tactics, aggressive. Jamie TKV, aggressive. And I know this is quite against quite a few light skinned guys as well. I don't know if he's got a little bee in his bonnet with light skinned dudes. But then with Philip Hergovich, who was talking smack about him, dismissed him, said, "There ain't nothing about you that I rate. You're kind of whack, kind of puff. Like, yeah, let's get down to business, and I just don't rate you. Like, I'm gonna deal with you like easy." And then David just said, "Oh yeah, just Saturday night." There was no smack talk back. There was no getting in a man's face. There was no tapping of the chest. And then also, I saw him somewhat start butt dancing during the public workout, doing these dance moves like he's Usher and shoulder shrugs and doing all these dance moves. I thought, oh, this is interesting.
Oh, I didn't even clock that. I didn't clock that.
Did you see some of that base? Some of these dance moves?
I didn't see the public workouts, to be fair, but I saw him walk into the ring. He looked like he was.
No, if you see the public workout, he was doing these dance moves, these shoulder shrugs and these sliding Usher slides and moonwalking and all this other stuff. I thought, oh, this is a bit different. This doesn't seem like the same David Adams. And then, maybe that did show up in the fight because he was very subservient in the ring, just sort of happy to just sort of take too many shots. I only gave him the second round. I remember in the third round, it seemed like Andy Lee tried to give him it because he landed one punch at the end of it, but then
Sweet hook, yeah.
But then he turned the card around when he realized, hold on, he only threw literally one punch.
Yeah.
But I think that also in the second round, I think it was a bit of a curse that he actually cut Hergovich with the jab, because it then seemed like all he wanted to do is try and throw this big, just thought, oh, I just need one punch and I'm going to get him out of there. Hergovich was pinging him up, dealing with beautiful Eastern European style boxing. Adam Booth was saying, how much do you want this?
Oh, that was Adam Booth in the corner. Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss to Adam Booth.
Yeah, he was trying to G him up. He was like, he's done. He's done now. Like, he's doing what he's doing. You're way behind now. You need a knockout. And in the 8th round, he did come out. He showed. Well,
he did.
In the 8th round, he showed some. He got pinged with a 1-2, and then he did this thing where he stuck his tongue out. But it's like, maybe it's a thing where certain fighters have a certain trait when they get hurt. Where Edgar Berlanga does this thing. This seal clapping.
Yeah, he sticks out his tongue.
Like when he got
AJ
dropped.
does it.
No, but when he got dropped by Fabio Wardley, remember, he stuck out his tongue.
Yeah.
And then when he got hurt, he obviously got buzzed and he went and then he got hit with a chop in right, and then he went down, and then
AJ did it with Usyk.
Yeah, but it seemed like he was in a crisis. But AJ does it even when he's smashing people up as well, so it goes both ways with him. But then it seemed like he was in a lot of trouble. And then he did, rally back with a 13 hooks, which Hergovich took. The commentators, I think, was overselling it. Oh, Hergovich is holding on. But when you look at it, Hergovich's legs never buckled. His legs was very sturdy. He just took them, even looked and then went, slid out on one of the hooks. You know what I mean? It was like, yeah, all right, I'll get all these. And then now, there's always a man who's able to take your shots. Hergovich has always shown, Daniel Dubois couldn't floor him. Big Bang Zhang couldn't get him out of there. He calls it a slip, even the knockdown. So Hergovich has always shown he's able to take a good shot, and that was a good round. And then Hergovich just won, but he still won that round, obviously 10-8, and then he won 9 out of the 10 rounds. So very good boxing. But even his style, it reminds me a bit of Vitaly Klitschko.
Yes.
But then also, what I do notice with him, what I've noticed how you do get to him, is similar to what Andre Ward said. Is when you fight guys from that European stuff, you have to stay close to them because they
Inside,
can't fight on the inside. When you're on the mid range or outside, it's beautiful. It's
long
the best
range,
looking boxing
range.
you're ever
Yeah,
going to see.
the bibble,
Um,
the
yeah,
long
and that's what
arms.
remember that's what Daniel Dubois did. He just had to move to him because from the outside he was getting pinged about. But once he just started boring in,
Mm-hmm.
that's when he finally started having his success. And that's what David Adelaide couldn't do, unfortunately. Couldn't get on the inside, couldn't work away, and he was just on the mid to outside, and he was getting caught with hooks, body shots. Every shot in the book, it just looked like
He was getting
poetry.
clattered.
Just getting outclassed, poetry motion. But it just shows you also, this is why I say amateur boxing is very, very important when it's about the development. And the class shown Hergovich has been in there with all the top guys around that circuit,
Yep.
and it showed in there the experience, the skill level. It was all on show, and obviously the engine. People say, "No, we didn't know about Hergovich's engine." He's always had a good output, and it showed in there tonight. David Adelaide, I don't know if he's pumping too much weights. I know Josh Kelly looks like he's pumping up as well, so they might need to lay off the weights because that's what's probably slowing him down, fading his gas tank because he was breathing heavy and he didn't even put much output in there.
Because he was missing shots, that's why.
Yeah, he was throwing one hit wonders when they weren't landing.
He was loading up.
Yeah, but it's just the Adam Booth, the fighters have always had an engine problem. If you go from David Hay to George Groves, they've always had an engine issue in that gym, and so he needs. I don't know if he needs some. I don't even know if they've got a strength and conditioner coach in there. Even if they do, it probably isn't a good one because the engine has always been an issue in the Adam Booth
That is
setup.
interesting. I never clocked that.
Yeah, if you go through all the
I will now.
It's
Yeah.
been an issue.
I'd just like to say, apart from obviously the main event, I called every single fight exactly
did.
as it played out.
You
So,
did.
yeah, look, I guess what we found out before the fight is, I don't know if this is actually full news, but I think Ade said it on one of his videos, so shout out to him if it was him. But they, like Hergovich and Adelier, weren't actually supposed to be each other's opponents. They both had separate opponents who pulled out of fights, and so
No.
who declined or were supposed to fight and didn't. And then that's how the two of them ended up being put together, which makes sense because if you look at it in general, that doesn't seem like the kind of fight either person, well, David especially, should take. But yeah, that's apparently what happened. So they was due to fight other people, and they and both people fell out, so they ended up fighting each other.
Do you know who, Base?
I don't. I can find out, but I don't
Please,
know
that's interesting.
at this time. But I'll find out because I only heard this information like yesterday. I think it was late as well after their
Well,
fight. So
Were
Did they have
Adelaide meant to
specific camps though, didn't they?
weren't
They did
Adelaide meant to
have-
rematch TKV?
yeah, but that's different. He was offered. Someone was offered a fight apparently on this card,
Yeah.
and then that fight got turned down. Like the person, because remember they were doing the TKV thing because it got ordered by the British board,
Yeah.
and then they got offered to come on the card, and they said, "Well, we're going to do that instead." And then apparently there was another opponent that they was pitched, and they said yes, and then that fell through for whatever reason, and then they ended up fighting Hergovich. So
Mm-hmm.
That is really interesting. I didn't know that at all, but they did have full camps, right?
yeah, they from the moment
To fight it.
they had camps based on the previous, and then they was coming into camp as this fight was announced.
Okay.
So they both had at least 8 weeks apiece. And yeah, because Hergovich was, he's even said he just took a month. No, he said he took like 2 or 3 weeks
Yep.
after the Joyce fight, and then basically went straight back into camp because he had kind of been given a date, which was what he had said. So
I do like him under Abel Sanchez, though.
yeah,
He's looking good.
I did like that because the only thing I'd say is like because he looked in better shape. He looked like he actually got up for this fight. So it's interesting to know that you said, well, actually, 3 weeks after the Joyce fight, he was already starting to get conditioned again. So it's obviously paid off because he's looked sluggish in fights before, and I think since his father's passed away, he just hasn't been that El Animal that we were used to. But it seems as if he's coming back into himself, and it's nice to see that Abel had that good work with. Is it Muhammad Al Kalal? The first chap that was with
Mohammed
Gallagher?
Alapel.
Yeah, I do apologise. Sorry. He had that success where he got his knockout, and then I says, "Well, Hergovich is with him. Is it going to carry on with this knockout streak?" And obviously, he got to knock down David. But sorry, yeah, sorry.
No, I mean, I think part of the reason he was coming in sluggish for the majority of those fights outside of his dad was
You're
just
going to
that.
say short notice?
No, not even short notice. It's because I just think he believed he was just leagues above each person.
Ego.
Obviously, with the Dubois one, he said he shouldn't even really have been in the fight because he had there was he suffered an injury partway through camp, or he came into the camp with an injury before. Oh well, I've handled this guy before, I can get it done. But he said my conditioning wasn't great, but I just thought I'd be able to get him out of there
Yeah.
early, which I mean I think everyone did after the first 3 or 4 rounds. But then he said, "Yeah, my illness, my injury, I just ran out of gas,
Yeah.
and then I realized I can't do that again." So that's what he said. He's been taking it serious since then.
Yeah.
Interesting. I did like the fight. I thought it was. I did think it was a good fight. We saw David show heart. I do agree with everything that Danny says. I think he's got different energy towards different people. A couple of people have reiterated it in the chat. The telephone.
Selective badness.
Yeah, the telephone voice is real. So yeah, that's fine. But parking that to one side and looking at the fight itself, David Adelaide used a really good jab. It was nice and it matched his explosive style. And he came out and he did use that. He did use it really well. And he split Hergovich's eye, the bad eye, quite early. So we've still got to go on and give Hergovich the credit of fighting basically all those rounds, the whole fight with one eye, because that was swollen. And I'm telling you, it was barely open. So why did Adelaide not continue to use the jab? And this is where the experience, the style of Hergovich comes in, because it looked like for a few rounds that Adelaide just stopped punching. It's like there was no ideas left. And how am I going to combat this? How am I going to overcome this? Do I need to just wait and try and get that shot? And we saw him overload with that left hook so many times, jumping into it full power, full pelt to try and get Hergovich down. He got Hergovich with him one time, and head. But he stayed in there. So it's like, okay, now what do I do? It's like there was just a pause. There was so many pauses through there. He just wasn't boxing at all. He was waiting to get that one hit, and Hergovich was picking him off, literally hunting him down. It was continuously back-footed and spot on to Adam Booth. The cornering from him just delighted my soul, because that's what you want to hear from your coach. He says, you ain't going to win this on points. You're walking forward. You've got to let your hands go. How much do you want this? That's serious advice from a coach that's saying to him, you're losing, bro. You're going to have to go in there and knock him out. Excellent. And that's when we saw the gear shift, and he came out and he really gave it a good go. But at the end of the day, Hergovich was just the better fighter.
Well, can we? I wasn't listening to it as much as you, and I know that's your thing to hear.
I love the
corner.
coaches.
Now that quote unquote the motivational speech, okay, look, I mean, do you really want this, etc., etc. But did he actually give him instructions? Look, he's doing this. So if he does that, you step here, move round his arm.
No,
because ultimately, if you're gonna just be look, do you want it or not? Like you might as well just be swinging it out in the parking lot. That doesn't sound to me like it's tactical.
No, I hear that. But the tactical stuff, and believe it or not, Base, I have seen this a couple of times. The tactical stuff, a lot of the times, is given in the gym. That's why I specifically asked, did they have full camps for their opponents? To be fair, and I'll put my hands up, Boofy might have said something in the earlier rounds around tactics. It's not all the time that they were letting the mic play. The comms were gassing over them as well. But the only reason why that stood out to me is because it was that pull your socks up moment. Adam could have given him technical advice, but that bit didn't catch my ears, or like I said, the comms was talking over it. But that was what counted, because that's the only goddamn thing that David listened to. Because there was moments in that fight when I was thinking, is he going to hit him or what? What is he doing? Too many pauses. He's not filling the gaps. Hit first, try and score some points, and there was none of that there. But David Hart won't question that.
Yeah.
Cannot question that. However, he's just got to, we just want to see you box. Just get down. Just get back to boxing. Boxing. That's it. And you can use that power. If he puts 2 and 2 together, he's good. But he's just got to put the 2 and 2 together. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got a heart of a lion, and I think he will learn from this experience, because remember, he hasn't actually had that many fights himself, so he is quite inexperienced as a pro. But I do feel that hopefully he will learn from this, and he definitely has to, I feel, knuckle down in the gym and lose some of that pretty boy muscle.
Okay, fair enough.
I think that is
I just thought
hindering
he's
him.
naturally athletically built like that. I don't know.
Nah,
Now, if you see him from years ago, he's definitely put on.
Has he?
yeah, because he was weighing 225s before. Now he's
Oh,
pushing 240. So he's put on a
okay.
stone of muscle, and that's stone of muscle is a lot to carry around.
Mm.
Yeah. All right, look, let's talk about okay, let's stick with the Brits for now, because we can sort of just flirt to the others afterwards.
Cool.
Nick Ball, Sam Goodman. I will say it's the same thing I've been saying the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
I just want Nick Ball to face someone in his actual weight division for a change. That's the only thing I'm asking for. I don't think that's a big stretch. Either do that unifier belt, or face one of the contenders at 126, because constantly bringing up people from 122, 118 is starting to get a bit tiresome. I understand probably part of the reason they're doing that is because those people will likely be a similar height to him, or like not too much taller, because he unfortunately is short and stocky and he can't make those weights, but he is very disadvantaged at the 126 division in terms of height and reach. I get it, but that's the life you chose. So fight the people that are up there, especially that you have the belt, not just this like the caretaking and just looking after the belt, hoping that Inoue will pick you if he decides to go up to 126, which he hasn't even said that he's going to do. So yeah, I would just say, please don't have your career just riding around the fact that possibly an Inoue fight is in your future. Like, build your own legacy, which is what I want to see. That being said, it was a good fight against Sam Goodman. I wasn't scoring it like round for round. I was watching it. Obviously, I was keeping kind of a mental score, but I didn't, put it down and say, okay, he won this round, he won that round, etc., etc. But there is 3 scores that I believe I could agree with if I had heard them. 116, 112, Sam Goodman. 115, 113, Sam Goodman. Or 114, 114, a draw. I knew that Nick Ball would win the fight on points, and so I don't mind the 115, 113 to Nick Ball, because there were some of those rounds, yes, he's very busy, nothing's actually landing, but he's being the aggressor, he's walking forward, etc., etc. But looking at it, the 115, 113, like I said, no problems with it, but him getting a 117, 111 and a 118, 110 scorecard just tells you that those must have been written in the back before he even made his ring walk. There was no way that he, number one, I mean, Sam Goodman was too quick for him. Those first 4 rounds, like, Nick Ball could barely land a punch. He barely landed anything clean.
True.
He was getting his head popped off with jabs, and he was actually getting walked back to the ropes.
Yes.
He's supposed to be the little short, stocky, big judo guy, and he's actually getting bullied by Sam Goodman, which I was shocked by. I did not expect that. He did get into it a bit further on down the fight when Goodman started to slow his feet a little bit, started to hold his feet, maybe trying to, he didn't want to move as much and drain his energy. But like I said, I can see there's a couple rounds early where you can maybe give them to Ball if you're, doing not so much home cooking, but you're favouring the champion. Fair enough. As much as I don't agree with the scorecards, and I think Goodman deserved to probably get the nod. I don't mind, like I said, if it was a draw or Ball got it like 115, 113, I've got no real complaints because I expected him to win by sort of scorecards. To be honest, I doing the prediction, I said the scorecards would be similar to the ones that we got, the 118, 110, 117,
Wow,
111, and that was based on the fact of I didn't think that Goodman would try to. I didn't think he would try to hold range. I felt like he would try to play Nick Ball's game, which would obviously go to his detriment. It actually played to his benefit in the fight. So as much as I predicted those scorecards, I wish I was actually wrong because that's not what I saw watching the fight. I think Nick Ball was very, very lucky, but that also being said, champions advantage and all that. I understood the game from before. The next fight has to be credible. That's all I'll save there because and the fact even that Turkey, he put out a tweet early, after the fight saying he was very impressed with Sam Goodman, his heart and his
seen that.
boxing skills, and that he definitely wants to
Wants
have
him
it back
back.
on Riyadh.
Yeah.
That basically tells you he thought he won. That's him saying I
No.
think you won without saying that you won.
No,
He does that though. To be fair, His Excellency does do that shit.
No, for valiant losers, like if you put up a good performance or a better performance than you thought, if you put up a better performance than
He was
thought
impressed
you would
with
do,
him.
Yeah, he was impressed with him. He thought that maybe Goodman would have got smoked, and because he didn't, and he put up a good performance, he said he wants to see him back.
I think he thinks he won. There was some other stuff he said in that tweet which made me believe that he probably either thinks he won or thinks that the scorecards were bad. Read the.
Yeah, the
I love
scorecards were
the
bad.
chat. I'm just looking at
bad.
the chat. I'm laughing at the chat. Sorry.
I'll get the tweet and then.
What you saying? He was doing some cryptic messages.
I'll get the tweet and then we can maybe I'm wrong.
Judges need to stop licking balls.
Right, so let's
Remember that. What
I'll
was
get
it?
the actual tweet.
Joel? That chef, my big chocolate salty balls. Put them in your mouth and.
Oh, that was South Park.
South Park. Sorry, I'm showing my age again.
Okay, he says, I thought Sam Goodman did fantastic in his fight with Nick Ball. He showed a lot of skill and the rounds were close. I would love to see more of him on future Riyadh season and Ring magazine cards with the boxing glove, the fire emoji, and he said, and the rounds were close. That's telling you he thinks he won.
That's loud.
And if he didn't,
that's loud.
He at least deserved a draw. Like he's saying that the home cooking was in, but as a recompense, I will allow you to come back and fight again.
And he will. We'll see him again.
Opportunity
because he does keep his word when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Well, we're still waiting to see Malik Zinad.
True.
Oh yeah, was that the Bivol geezer?
Yeah.
He went Fort Bivol. Gone. Check up on him, see if he's all right.
Well, I know he's training with Shane McGuigan now.
Okay.
Oh, Shane McGuigan. Who's Willie Hutchinson training with now?
He was training with Shane McGuigan, but now he's ran off and ran back to his old trainer, the German trainer.
So Craig Richards left for nothing. Never mind. Anyway.
Yeah, he didn't even get a fight out of Willie. So
all that training for nothing?
I guess so.
So there you go.
So
here I come with love and not hatred.
October, your thoughts on the fight, please.
I agree with what you said, Base. I thought, because I didn't know much about this Goodman, it was the guys in the chat that were saying this is his first fight outside of Australia. I did look at his stats. He's had more fights, 2 years older. So I said I was going to watch it.
No, he's 2 years younger.
2 years younger, apologies. He's 26, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to watch it and just see how it goes. And straight away I said, boxing brain. He's got boxing brain. He's finding his range. And he was just literally popping the head off Nick Ball, like you said, for the first few rounds. Nick Ball was running into him, missing him, running into the ropes. You know, it was really, really messy to start off with. And then obviously a bit later on, Nick started to find his way. But that Goodman was in that fight, countering, aggressive counters as well. We saw the damage that was done to Nick Ball's face at the end of it. By the end of it, solid fighter. You know me, because it's a close fight. I can't do the judging. I just can't. But it was a close fight to me, and I do want to see Goodman back. I want to see him come to the UK. Sorry, I'm selfish. I know His Excellency said ring and Riyadh cards. I want to see him come over into the UK. I
Oh,
don't
they
know.
can be here. They can be here.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. I like the kid. He's definitely. I've got my eyes on him now. Didn't know who he was before, but talk about putting them on a platform so we know who they are now, and
If
that's the benefit for those
if
cards.
you want to see some good fights from him,
Yeah,
watch his fight against TJ Dehaney and watch his fight against Rais Salim. Those are two fights that will show you like his full range of, and both of those fights I actually believe he was the underdog. Well, he's definitely the
is
underdog
it?
in the Rais Salim fight, but he was the underdog in that one, maybe against TJ Dehaney as well.
Yeah, Dehaney would have been the favourite.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh, I'll go on this one.
yeah. My opinion on the fight. I thought Nick Ball would win, but I, I I remember when it first got signed, I thought Nick Ball would stop him.
Why?
Do you know why? It was a bit of a silly thing. Do you know why? Because remember he was set to fight Naoya Inoue.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking, yeah, Inouye's going to smoke him, and then he pulled out twice with the cuts. I'm thinking, this guy, this brother, he's moving a bit flaky. Even though they was legit cuts, but I just something was telling me he's just moving. I just said flaky, and I
mm-hmm.
just thought, yeah, Nick Ball's just gonna rough him up, batter him, stop him. And then as the fight got closer, I thought, all right, maybe it might be points. But either way, I just thought it would be, yeah, that Ball would dominate the fight, basically. And that was further from the truth than I could imagine. Because, as you said, the early rounds, Sam Goodman was getting his work off, pinging, outboxing Nick Ball. And Nick Ball is my favourite British fighter. But he was getting outboxed. Similar to like what was happening when Nick Ball fought. Was it the Vargas brother, the tall
Yeah,
brother?
the long one that kept
Ray
on falling
Vargas.
on the floor.
Yeah, him. So it's like similar to like that. But
Mm.
as you know, as the fight got to like the middle rounds and stuff, then Balls started getting, finally getting close, putting clusters of punches together, using nice uppercuts in there, leaning like down at an angle and firing these uppercuts off and getting his cluster of hooks off. Never hurting
Mm. Mm.
Sam Goodman ever, but just using the work rate and stuff like that to get off his shots. I agree that, yeah, 115, 113, or at real best push 116, 112, but there is no way there was no 117, 113, no 118, no 117, 111, 118, 110. So
Yeah,
you're going to give Sam Goodman 2 rounds? Come
I,
on.
yeah. I sat there and I was like, I know I don't judge, but this sounds a little bit wide.
Yeah, Nick Ball's my guy, but come on, you didn't win you didn't win 10 rounds. Come on. So, but I know that maybe some of it is a bit not home cooking, but I know that Britain was really pushing. Oh, he's our only world champion left. He's our only one. So I know
I get
that.
it.
Yeah, so it's like they're hanging on to survival mode of being in the
Male
world
champion. We've got
male
to put that
champion.
in.
Well,
You're
we know.
going to get people upset. He's
Sorry,
not the only British world champion, is he?
yes, sorry, male world champions, so they're really hanging their hat on that. So they really needed that one, but yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot closer than them cards was. I'd say Nick Ball just scraped over the line. I'd give 115, 113 personally, but yeah, he's not ready for Noe Nui or Nakatani, who is moving up as well. Funny
Junto.
enough, Junto. But yeah, Nick Ball, man, well done. Still world champion, doing bits.
Yeah, congrats.
Congratulations.
Okay, so let's skip over Satsumi and Ashfaq. Just he goes to 8-0, 5 KOs. Congratulations. Keep on the trajectory. We'll see how he moves forward. Everyone happy with that?
Yes.
All right, let's talk about Ray Ford and Abraham Nova. Again, a fight that I predicted exactly the way it played out. That it would feel and look like both guys' hardest fights to date, but
Mm,
Ray Ford, so it would just have the sort of that extra, just the extra quality. I feel like Nova's kind of about here if you're looking at level,
yeah.
and then Ford's kind of about there, and it will show. Um, and I felt that for Nova, the best chances of him being able to win the fight or upset would have been to try to stick behind the jab and make Ray Ford have to try to lunge in to
Mm,
catch him, because obviously he's much shorter, and with a lower center of gravity, and obviously a shorter reach. But because Nova is a primarily a person that does like to come forward with a high guard, I knew that he would walk himself into range at
okay.
more than enough times, and it would just be about if Ford can basically catch him with the right shots, or throw, or sort of keep him turning, and then catch him as
Mm,
he's sort of angling out. But I did say that Nova's got I said he's got a beard on him, and I wasn't talking about the blonde mess. He actually can tell, he can hold a shot. He's very good fighter, very durable. And I felt that unless he got hit on the blind side, that he doesn't see coming, which a couple of times he did, to be fair, but they were short arcing shots rather than fully talked in. But he ate them quite well. There was a couple of times he did look like he got stunned a bit, which I expected would happen. But I just believe that he would do enough, and Ford just wouldn't necessarily have enough openings and success to be able to dominate in terms of getting to a stoppage. But I did predict he would get a points decision, but it would be a fight where, like, even though he's clearly won the fight
mm,
on the scorecards, he knows that he was actually in more of a war than he would like to admit he
yeah.
should have been. That's sort of my thoughts on it. Yeah, and I guess we just got to wait to see if Eddie does make the fight with Sugar Nunez that he's been begging for the last 3 months or so, 3 4 months. What's your thoughts, October?
Yeah, I agree with you. I hadn't done that much research on Nova, but I know who Ford is because Brian Peters manages him, and I keep a little bit of an eye on his fighters. So it was literally kind of going in a little bit blind, but I do agree it was like you said, because I did listen to your pick. So guys, whenever some fights coming up, sorry, before I go on, always go and listen to Base's picks. He's very good. He doesn't just say what he thinks is going to happen. He tells you why, and he gives you sort of a prediction of a fight, a potential fight breakdown before it happens. So go and listen to them. Seriously, subscribe to Base the Kids channel. We've got to get the numbers up for all of us. So yeah, credit to that, because it was that I listened to, and yes, it matched in really well with the fight. That Nova guy is very, very tough. And every time I thought Ford was going to get him, he was able to come back. A nice counter puncher. I do like his aggressive counter punching. There was a few times when I thought Ford was going to have him, and he was like, "Nah, not today." He stayed in there. It was a beautiful fight. Out of all of the fights except for the Adelaide Hergovich, that was definitely my favourite fight on the card. And I think your picks, you said that was the fight that you was looking forward to the most. Or am I
Mm-hmm.
here?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So really good fight. Really enjoyed it. Nova can definitely come again. Um, yeah. I agree with what you said, Base, but obviously you've got more knowledge on Nova than I had. So I was pleasantly surprised that it was an entertaining fight.
And I guess a little bit of aside for that, a little bit of bonus, and when you put a little sprinkle on top, like, Abraham Nova sounds uncannily like Mike Tyson. You listen to him talk,
Yeah, he does actually.
he sounds
Shit.
almost exactly like him.
Yeah, he does.
So it's
Is he from that neck of the wood?
yeah,
Neck of the woods?
he's from, I think he's from New York. I'm not sure whereabouts, but I'll double
Bushwick.
check.
Bush.
I know
He's
he's
from
resides in
Catskills or something. I don't
yeah,
know.
I know he resides in Dominican Republic now.
Okay.
But obviously got support. But
Oh yeah,
yeah,
Base's second home.
yeah, I make no ashames about it either. Let's see, where is
You
yeah, he's from Albany, New
demon.
York. So
Okay.
yeah,
All right. Yeah.
but he was, funny enough, he's from Albany, but he was born in Puerto Rico, which
Yeah,
is,
he's Puerto Rico. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
But he lives in Dominican Republic now, so even he realized which Caribbean island you have to be on. Just saying.
Base is going to retire doing Caribbean tours
I
and not
mean, I
based
might
on the
do.
food either.
might do. You never know.
Uh, but yeah, no, Nova, he had the mascot all week,
Oh yeah,
which
that
I
thing,
thought was
innit?
very, yeah, I thought that was very good. Um, good promotion and stuff. And yeah, I hadn't seen him much of him before. I'm not sure I've seen him properly fight. Probably little highlights here and there. But yeah, he showed a really good showing of himself. Ray Ford, um, on still on the comeback trail, trying to become world champion. But he's going to have to figure out what he's going to do with this weight because he come in 3 pounds over. So
Ah, it was point 0.3 ounces.
oh, it's point 0.3
Oh,
ounces.
Yeah,
I didn't even clock that.
Oh, okay, because I saw something about three.
yeah, it was 130.3.
Yeah, so he's struggling with the new weight class because I remember even when he fought Nick Ball and he was missing meals, man. He was missing meals out in Riyadh when it was baking. So yeah, he's obviously still a growing lad. But yeah, he's good performance. But yeah, I just hope he settles down at a weight class so you can really go for the title hunt and become a two-weight world champion.
One thing I'll say, I don't want to assume that this one he had trouble making the weight. Because if you remember, obviously the Kakache fight was there. I think they might have been looking to put a trinket title on there, but I don't think this one actually had any belts on the line. So
No,
even though it was 130, they probably like, well, look, we'll give both of
Mm.
you a grace period if need be. So I will reserve judgment on that part until the next fight
Okay.
to decide whether okay, so you actually are struggling or you're ill disciplined or whatever. But I think this might have just been a case of it's a new opponent for you guys. There's not anything there. It's just a fight on the card. You've been moved down the ranking on the card. I don't know if that happened before or after he didn't hit 130 pounds, but
Yeah.
you're just thinking, and you know what? Cool. You guys are on the prelims now. You don't have to kill yourself if you don't want to, kind of thing.
mm,
So I'll wait till the next one to see because he fought 4 months ago in April and he
Mm.
was under 130. So I don't think he just all of a sudden
Okay.
now struggled 4 months later.
mm.
Was he fighting in his home country?
Yeah,
They
he was
could
fighting
be,
at Atlantic City.
and
He was on the Boots
yeah,
Ennis undercard.
yeah, could be the whole week. The fine dining. There could be all little different bits linked into there. So base is right. Let's see what goes on moving forward. It'd be too harsh to judge that now.
Hmm.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right, so yeah,
Danny.
that's pretty much that. Look, Mohamed Alakel got his knockout. Congrats to him. Um, that's pretty much that in terms of the
Mm.
card. Do we have any other terms of business to discuss? Whoever wants to open the floor.
Yes. So
Du, 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 du.
yeah, get your cameras ready, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, word in. I've word on the canvas is that Daniel Dubois has now parted ways with Don Charles. We know that earlier this week that Kieran Farrell, he said he handed in his notice. He's parted ways. But yeah, Daniel Dubois and his dad Stan, they have parted ways with Don Charles, and they will now be trained at the Matchroom gym by Tony Sims. So that will add to the heavyweight stable of with the Romford Bull going there most recently. What's your thoughts? Those in the chat and October and base.
I'll let October go first on that one.
Um, when I saw Sam Jones coming as an advisor, I knew that Don Charles was going to go. I'll just
Mm,
say that. I just knew that changes often begat changes. So, yeah, that was inevitable. Why is he left Don Charles? I don't know. Only he can answer that question, and good luck with getting that out of either of them. And will Tony Sims make any difference? Obviously, Tony Sims arguably had Anthony Joshua, so we know what he's capable of. But Anthony Joshua isn't Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois isn't Anthony Joshua. And with Daniel Dubois, you're not just training Daniel Dubois, are you? You've got the father there with a heavy input, heavy presence around that. Mark Tibbs, I think, had a couple of weeks of it and said, no, I can't deal with this. See you later. Rather than drowning him with some water in the corner. Obviously, he ends up going, I think he went to Shane McGuigan. Similar kind of thing. But Caroline stayed, Dubois went, a little bit of a pattern here. And then he goes to the beloved, open, warm arms of Don Charles that just accepts everybody and asks no questions. He gets him to a good stage in his career. Yes, you can argue that the belt was given to him. He was like a paper champion to start off with, a gift from Usyk to only take it back at a later date. However, he did defend it quite well under the tutorage of Don Charles to beat Anthony Joshua in the fashion that he did beat him. So it begs a question: why has he left? He's lost to Usyk, a phenom, somebody that will go down in Guinness Book of Records, the golden era of boxing, who the fighters were, somebody that will hear his name for years to come, just like we hear the likes of Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Jack Johnson, Joe Louis, and all of those other names in between. What's the benefit of changing trainers? Only time will tell. But we'll see what happens. The proof's in the pudding. I don't know why he's left. I don't know what the difference is going to be. Like I said, that's only for future reference. But I knew as soon as one change started and then I saw Kieran Farrell bow out, I thought it's only a matter of time before the other one does. And in fact, I think I called that Don would probably go before Kieran. But hey-ho.
Yeah.
That's my honest opinion.
Base?
I mean, I'm not surprised.
Oh, yeah.
No, because look, one thing we know about
I'm putting my feet up now. I've got to get comfortable for this answer.
well, one thing we know about Spencer Fearon, he basically had this assumption from about a year ago, from before the AJ fight, really, that ultimately he didn't think that Stan liked Don, and that ultimately he was looking to get rid of him from before. What do we always see? As soon as someone takes a loss, usually the trainer's the person that gets the blame.
Yeah, there is that pattern.
We've seen from even in the build up to the fight, with Don's in the back trying to G up Daniel's nudging him in the ribs, get out the way, never giving him credit in the interviews, always talking about his dad and the team and all of that stuff. Don basically always trying to look like the big friend at the side of the dance, trying to get in the picture. That's what it's always kind of seemed like. He's just there. He's one of the man them that you have on the periphery. He's always there. He's harmless, so you let him hang around, but he tries to get in the shot just so that that he's with the cool kids. That's kind of the vibe that they've made Don give off, which
You're not lying. You're not lying,
because he's not. Like, he deserves a bit more than that. But that being said, he has made a rod for his own back on several occasions, doing his little revenge tours after the AJ fight and everything. And all you guys that that wrote us off or said that I shouldn't be in this position, well, how do you feel now? And all of these things. So when you put that kind of energy out in the universe, as he likes to say, you be careful, because it comes back to you the same way that he was putting that in the universe that Usyk was the greatest actor ever and that he was a cheat and he didn't believe in the real God, and who do you like pray to and all that sort of stuff. Like, that negative energy, because that's not positive energy you're putting out there, that's very negative to another man questioning their belief system when they haven't really given you any reason to do so, considering that the one thing you're calling him a cheat about, it was the referee's decision to allow the guy to do what he did. It wasn't him. He didn't con anyone. As soon as he went down, the referee called it as low immediately before even assessing the situation. So all of that stuff, it just seemed like okay there, and then George trying to poke at the same thing, and all of this stuff, you could just tell it seemed like they was creating unnecessary animosity and unnecessary chaos in that in the ring, in the fight, in the build up. And we all know one thing that I guess everyone would know, Frank especially, is if you don't get Usyk the first time, it's very hard to get him the second time. He
Mhm.
always seems to step up. And
Mm.
now, not only does he seem to step up and he has data, and okay, we might be a bit more positive and stuff in our mindset, but now he's also, I don't want to say angry in the sense that, oh, he's fighting on emotion, but now he's angry. Now he's pissed off. Like you've come in the ring when he wants to
Yeah. When
talk
he's
about
one,
his
yeah.
children and his family and his father and being away from them, and you're just ruining the interview to the point where he said, Frank, where are you? Please, His Excellency, make this fight. That should alone tell you there, okay, so you've done messed up. So you've got all that, your preparations weren't right. You had the gathering the first time, and now you had a party the second time, which Don wasn't at. So imagine you're supposed to be the guy's trainer, and you ain't even invited to the party.
Mm.
All of that tells you that anything that, as soon as it went wrong, they was looking for the scapegoat, and you've been made the scapegoat, and you was going to be made the scapegoat. So he tried to tuck his tail and go on all the platforms and try to speak softly and basically walk back everything he said, but the damage was already there, and they was already looking for a reason to get rid of you because they didn't rate you to begin with, which is abhorrent, to be honest. But you, like I said, you made a rod for your own back. As
Yeah.
soon as it went wrong, you were going to catch the brunt of it, and unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Sometimes you have that, sometimes you do have the African Caribbean dynamics and the little rivalries and the little hee-hees and kikis. It could have all been part of that as well. Maybe they just culturally, they also
Didn't
didn't
align.
feel like they aligned in that sense.
Mm.
Like, skin, as people say, not all skin folk is kinfolk, because not all religion, not all cultures, not all beliefs are the same. So it could have been a multitude of things, but I just was not shocked that it was. I thought it would happen. I'm surprised it took what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks to officially happen. But obviously, I guess they thought, oh, because everyone's going to say, oh, we're going to get rid of him, we're going to get rid of him. So they tried to wait. Don't
Hold
do
it
it
out a
straight
little
away,
bit.
so that it
Mm.
softens the blow, and you don't get as much backlash on it, which is probably the tactic. But yeah, I knew it was going to happen, so I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that he's in the matchroom gym. I don't know
Yeah.
how much of a benefit that will be for him. But
No.
that also being said, if he's in the matchroom gym, does that maybe mean that the contract with Frank might be up and he might be looking to move over to? Because you don't just go to the matchroom to go to a
Yeah,
rival
that's
promoter's
odd, isn't it?
head
Yeah,
gym, and you're
I
not looking
presumed he
to
was going to
sign
go
to
to
that
Jamie
promoter.
Moore.
Especially with Sam Jones, he does a lot of his business with Matchroom.
yeah,
Saying there's a
Yeah, I
lot
hear
there
it.
to make you
Nah, I hear
think
it.
otherwise. So we'll wait and
yeah,
see.
yeah. Also, funny enough, off the back of that, what makes me wonder as well is because I don't know if you saw the interview with Frank Warren recently, where he said, "Yeah, I need to sit down, I need to talk with Daniel
I
because."
was just about to say that.
Yeah, he goes. I think so. It
He ain't
sounds like
happy.
there's something going on where he needs to have a word because something's got like he's not
Uncle
happy with
Frank's like,
something.
yo, what's going on behind my back?
Yeah, that's what it sounds. He's like, I need to sit down and have a word with him. Like, and
Shout out
the
to
way he
Uncle
said
Frank.
that is like, yeah, something's going on. So I don't know what's happening. How long he's got left on the Queensbury contract, etc. I don't know, but
It's a fair point.
it is odd. Even with the link up with Sam Jones. Remember, Sam Jones was gunning him when he was fighting Joe Joyce.
That's what I'm
And
saying. Uppish behaviour.
now all of a sudden he's on his team. Is like, whoa, this is a bit funny, ain't it?
He did
But
the same thing with Regis Progre and Jack Catterall. Remember, Progre played out the tape. So
yeah,
my man's known for doing that.
yeah, he's a
He's known.
python. He's a
He's
python,
known.
proper python. But
Mm.
um, we've gone. Remember, Daniel. He started off with Martin Bowers.
He did,
When he
yeah.
left Martin Bowers and went with Tibbs and stuff. Martin Bowers was still his manager, still had that managerial
True.
contract. Martin Bowers, he don't play no games. And then yeah, he went to Shane McGuigan. And from what I do know, the dad is looking to take a step back with Tony Sims because Tony Sims don't play that family's meddling. Because even when you look at Connor, Nigel ain't in the gym meddling.
Doesn't need to be.
Yeah, so the dad, I think he knows that he's got to step back, and I think he alluded to even after the post fight with Radio Raheem that he's a grown man now, and he
I
can make
saw
his own
that.
decisions.
After he lost, yeah, he can make
Yeah,
his own decisions.
so
But
yeah,
bro, he hasn't been making his own
Well,
decisions.
would he have been grown enough to make his own decisions if he won the fight? That would be
You
the
hear that?
interesting question. So
Talk to
yeah,
him.
Yeah.
type thing.
So that's interesting. But yeah, it just unfortunately, I don't think that they respected Don Charles properly. Daniel didn't respect Don Charles, nudging but man who's old enough to definitely be your dad, at least.
Yeah.
In just the way he did sort of dismissive of him, but that would have been learnt behaviour from Stan. You got to think, what was the dad saying about Don Charles? How was he speaking to Don Charles?
Mhm.
And that's going to rub off on the son. So when that breakdown happens, you do need to then find someone who you're going to respect, because you need someone in the corner you're going to respect to respond properly, rather than have your dad running over every minute, banging on the canvas, raising his blood pressure. So
But
yeah,
he does listen to his dad, though.
yeah, he does, but you need a coach, because his
You
dad,
do need a coach.
his dad's not a boxer. He's not boxed.
Unless he applies for his coaching license.
I don't think he has any interest in that. But one thing I will say, if it is something where, well, with Frank Warren, what I will say is Frank Warren, I would not advise leaving Frank Warren, because
Correct.
he's made you, I don't like
Phenomenal amount of money.
money. I don't like to do the pocket watching. Shout out Maestro, but he has made Daniel a load of cash. Like, brought him on the comeback trail when he's failed. With the
Rebuilt him?
one, yeah, he's rebuilt him how many times? Even when we're going back to David Adelaide, David Adelaide has made a very good living for the limited skills he's had. Because remember, he made 500k when he fought Fabio Wardley for the British title in that Riyadh season. I'm sure he made a decent amount, a half decent amount last night as well. If he's made even the same, that's £1 million. Then he's had other fights. So David Adelaide's made it. So Frank Warren is very good at positioning people, getting you good fights, good money, making you have a life after boxing. So yeah, I would advise Daniel and team to stay with Queensbury.
Yes.
But if you do sign with Matchroom, you're still on the zone, I guess. Or Frank might still have some kind of side deal with Eddie.
I hope that's not the case. You're making me get a bit nervous now. Base has gone and put ideas into my head.
No, but I thought it as well when I found out, because I thought because I know with Matchroom, when you're in the gym, you usually are with the promotional company, because all the fighters there are all Matchroom fighters. That's why it's called the Matchroom Gym.
Oh, don't even mess around now.
Even when you go, because remember, the trainers are going to be Tony Sims and John Ryder, all the Jimmy Sains, George Liddard, Ramla Ali, Craig Richards, Conor Benn.
Ramla Ali's back in there.
No,
Yeah.
she left now.
Oh,
she was there. She's not there now.
Well, after that last fight, she left.
She was there before that fight. She got someone else now. She's because she's with John Ryder, innit?
Yeah.
John Ryder's out of that gym.
Yeah, she's in there. I've seen her recently. She's still in there. Maisie Rose. But yeah, Tony Sims, he's had heavyweights in the past, as we know, with Anthony Joshua, Dempsey McKean,
Jordan Thompson,
who's building back up, and then obviously the Romford Ball, Johnny Fisher now.
Done a swapsies, Jordan for Daniel. Nah, I don't want to hear this. I'm not into this.
Oh wow!
I'm not playing these games with you. He's still with Queensbury.
Okay.
What are you saying? Usher trading places?
Okay. Oh, just seen the video you sent me of my man dancing as well. Yeah, peak.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, but yeah, wow, Jordan and thinking, yeah, it's mad. I didn't even think of that, but interesting.
Base, you're all starting rubbish.
Well, okay. Then I say.
If he ends up with Matchroom now, you're gonna have to clip this.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to clip it. I'd rather he stay where he is, because I'm one of these. Don't bite the hand that feeds you, innit? I'm old school like that.
Hansel and Gretel.
I'm just old school like that. Like when people like, it doesn't matter which promoter it is. If they've helped you, if they've built you, don't bite the hand. I understand it's not all love and happiness. It's tough. It's rough. You'll argue. You might not get on, but they've fed you.
Yeah, and that's leaving two fathers, because, well, 3 or 2, because Frank sees Daniel as like a son. Don sees him like a son.
Nah, man, that ain't happening. He's still there, man. But when Frank says about this meeting, that's when the alarm bells went in my head, because he was sort of like saying, "Oh, I need to have a meeting with the whole team."
Yeah, that's what he said.
You know what I mean? Yeah, never mind just Daniel, the whole team. And I thought, oh, Daddy's Daddy's calling his kids back to the yard.
Yeah, he summons him
Serious.
there. Oh man.
If that happens, you're gonna have to clip this. I hope you're wrong.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah, I hope this Stradamus pick is not right.
My blood pressure ain't ready for that.
Good grief.
But you know what? We will find out because there's a press conference this week, and I think Frank Warren's got to show up in Manchester anyway. It's there's a press conference this week, isn't it? So
Yes.
hopefully we'll see Mr. I'll ask Mr. Warren because I do like him. He's quite funny. I'll ask him, and if he just bans me from all interviews, then I'll know I've provoked him. But yeah.
Nah, he likes you. He'll just go off on one.
He is cool. He is cool.
Frank's cool, man.
He's funny. I do like him. But yeah. What a bombshell. It's not even the fact that he's left on Charles. The bombshell is he potentially leaving his promoter? That's the bombshell.
Well,
How many Sam Jones fighters work with Frank Warren?
Not that many compared to Matt. There's a couple, but not as many.
There is a couple. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
There's a couple, but there's in terms of the percentages, they mostly go to Matchroom.
And there's no other fighter in Matchroom Gym except for Matchroom Fighters, right?
Yeah, there's
No.
I guess Ramla technically she's an MVP now, but there's no one that's not on the Matchroom roster in that gym that I'm aware of.
And definitely not one fighter trained by Tony Sim, because Ramla's trained by John Ryder, and remember she's literally just turned over to MVP. But Eddie's kind of letting the women get their bread, that. So but they're all Matchroom fighters, man.
You do hear Frank Warren say when his fighters have lost, it depends how they lose. We can rebuild. And he's like that. He won't just put you in the bin straight away. He does give you a chance, and we've seen that more than once. I hope he hasn't done that.
Okay. Well, I mean, on that note, have we got anything else that we need to discuss today?
You're amazing, man, and I'm glad you're in my life.
No, it's appreciated, and vice versa to yourself.
I'm not an amazing man, so no.
No. But you are an amazing woman, as much as you downplay yourself. But we'll give you all the pities and the lovings after the stream.
That was a good convo. There's a couple interesting things here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Get in the comment section. Any of you lot watching this on playback, be sure to leave comments in the comment section. Please subscribe to Base the Kid at the Hardcore Casual, and yes, make sure you do tune in to Base's picks, because he does do the keys to victory for both fighters, gives both scenarios, and then gives his ultimate pick of how he sees fights going. A great, excellent, detailed breakdown, which I must admit I do use to for navigation of how I will see certain fights, even if I don't agree, and my betting slip sometimes differs from yours, but I do take into account what you do say on that. So they are good. So I highly advise and recommend you guys subscribe to the channel and tune in for that. Still waiting on Femme Files, but hey, I'm sure it will come soon. Make sure you subscribe to October Red Media for the great talks and discussions with any and everyone, from Gareth A. Davis to Don Charles to Fight Week content. She has been heralded by even your favorite promoters and fighters as being their favorite person to be spoken to by. We don't call them interviews. She calls them conversations. So please make sure you subscribe to October Red Media.
Did Eddie Hearn say that he's going to have some announcements soon? You got me thinking now. Did he say he's got some announcements coming up?
I haven't heard that.
Okay. Yeah. Homework.
Yes. And be sure to subscribe to Fight Fan TV Live for all that random stuff. I'll pop up here and there. There's no set schedule, but subscribe, like, and hope you enjoy it. Check out the Lucas Rohrig interview from the Neutral Corner, most recently out. You will learn a lot about him, and I'm sure you will enjoy that. And please follow his journey.
He's black?
He's back out on TM14.
No, he's black.
Oh yeah, he's black. Yeah, he's black.
He's black.
He's IC3. It's one drop rule.
Didn't know.
Yeah, so we know now, and he's back out on the 27th of September on the TM14 card at York
Yeah.
Hall. So yeah, get your tickets from him also.
When are we back? What's going on in the next couple of weeks?
Well, right now August is the it's the off season for boxing. So I know I see a few people making videos of, oh, there's no boxing and what's going on. I'm like, this happens every year. August is the off season because promoters need annual leave too.
Yeah, fair enough. And they've got
so-
kids and everyone goes on holiday. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no point making all that money. You can't even go and sip some pina coladas. So August is always the off season, just so you got people.
Yeah, October's hotting up though.
Yeah, September and October. Well, from
Best
September it's
month.
hotting back up, and October, November.
October's on fire. Joshua Boaz is back
Yeah,
on an app with his third promoter in a row, Queensbury. I can't wait to speak to Josh.
yeah. But yeah,
He's running through them.
Anything else?
He's out here in these promoter streets.
Come on.
That's all you.
There you have it. It's another episode of Fight Talk Live. It's Danny Glover. It's October Red. It's Base the Kid. And remember, guys, persistence beats resistance. You know where it is.